Hi, David. Worth a donation. Yeah, I was really hoping that song still exists somewhere in my brain. Tapped. Oh, love. Thank you. Appreciate the super chat. Very nice of you. Do you ever get right pain shoulder? You know, sometimes I do. It's happened. It's happened in the past. But you know, I go to the gym too. When I lift my daughters, sometimes I just do that stuff wrong, and the guitar is not the culprit. Let's see. Do you listen to any metal? Check out Panzer Ballet. They do jazz metal. You know, I'm not a. I am a metal kid in my deep past, but it's been it's hard for me. It's just the texture, you know. I'm old now. It's too heavy. Don't know what they're all yelling about. You know, I'm a grandpa. I'm not a grandpa, but you know, it's I'm a grandpa in spirit. Good ears, Basil. This is, I forgot my good pick at home, and this is the same pick, but just unused. It sucks. It's clicky and plasticky, and it's going to take like 10 hours of playing for it to not sound like that anymore. And I hate everything about it. You know, but it's one of those things. If you don't have it, you don't have it. Let's see. Do you have any suggestions regarding that dry, clipped solo sound? Not so much sustain while picking. Are you saying that my sound is dry and clipped? Like the way I'm playing lines, you mean? Like this? Yeah, I have suggestions. You know, rock guys have turned the guitar into a violin. You know, kind of like with gain. So blues guys, rock guys, fusion guys, you're sort of creating an artificial amount of sustain. But forget about how you're doing it. What you're doing is you're creating a type of bow that can sustain notes for way longer than the acoustic. I mean, it's an acoustic phenomenon, but like, you know, if you were picking it. So put that aside, right? It's not going to be that. So get rid of bow kind of phrasing in your brain, right? It's like you're not going to be able to go that sweeping kind of, not sweeps, but like the sweeping kind of sound is not going to be a part of that vocabulary, so don't try to imagine it. So try to imagine a different instrument. Trumpet is the instrument that was in Django's brain, because he was a Louis Armstrong guy. So start imagining the shape of trumpet notes. They can be pretty long. You can't really do that on guitar, but that kind of like round burst of air is how you should try to visualize your picked sounds. And then you'll see that they're not all short and clipped. Some are, some aren't, but they are sort of circular, right? So you're kind of shooting him that way. The bulk of the lines is very right? If you have like a thing, you have the that's legato, but it's trumpet kind of legato. Right? What brands of gypsy guitars would you recommend? Greetings from UK. Great to catch you live. Minor Swing Theory channel is one of the best. Oh, thank you, Philip. I appreciate that. The brands, you know, there's a German company. It's a guy, Doderer, Henning Doderer. I really like his guitars. Once you pay over 4K, a lot of them become pretty good. So, David, so is the left hand muting instantly? You know, if you're still, I mean, the left hand, yeah, I mean, there's no right hand muting in Gypsy Jazz, so the left hand will control the durations, yes. But I will say that, you know, you like practicing things in this pure technical way without trying to conceptualize the line through the lens of actual music, meaning like sing it in your brain. You're like a lot of the control on like things like note lengths can't be conscious. It's too complicated. So it's a thing that kind of like when you close your eyes and hold a pendulum and imagine it spinning, it starts spinning. A lot of the actual playing done in the style happens after you have amassed a certain kind of technique. Just doing things robotically for a while and trying, and eventually that specific mechanism of note length becomes completely subconscious. because you're not. It's kind of like if you told me, like I had an idea, and I was like, I was asking you about, like, as you were saying it, like, how did you think about the letters that make up the words that describe the idea you're saying? It's like you don't, right? They're built in. You can sort of count on the vocabulary being there. So you got to really think about, you got to really be conscious of the actual, not the melody you're trying to play, but how you're trying to, like, how it sounds in your brain, right? So if you take a da 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 da, sing it a few times, right? Are you? Is it la 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 la, or is it boom 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 boom, right? The moment you can transition it into kind of approximating the lengths that you want to put out, if you're playing minor swing, right? Go from la 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 to bum 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 bum. Just say pump, right? The more trumpety kind of attack, and then bum 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 bum, right? Short, and then your imagination to sync to that kind of thing is going to give you the right kind of phrasing. Get boom, boom, that kind of thing. Okay. Are you playing modally and within one key here? Not too good at theory, but what is the easiest way to sound jazzy or a little outside when all you know are pentatonic box shapes? If all you know is pentatonic box shapes and you're not interested in actually learning how to do the other stuff, you should just play pentatonic box shapes. There's nothing out there for you. What you want to do, because it will just sound like, oh, for a second you don't know what you're doing and then you're back. It's not how playing out convincingly doesn't work like that. It needs to be laid out on real solid ground, or it's not gonna stick to anything. So it's just a bad approach. What you want to do is just figure out major scales first. If you only know pentatonic boxes, then major scales is the next logical move. What would a gypsy jazz approach sound like on electric guitar? I'm thinking in terms of tone. It's a problem because it doesn't. Electric instruments don't lend themselves to have that heavy kind of attack, and you can't really play this music. So, hey man, this is incredible advice. Thank you so much. Oh yeah, you're welcome, David. What did the gypsy jazz approach sound like on electric guitar? I'm thinking in terms of tone. Gypsy jazz approach. Yeah, I mean, I kind of play like that. I play a lot of the same shit with gain. With clean sounds, I could never figure it out because it's just the harder you attack, the thinner the sound becomes. Philip, oh shit, showering me with money. Are these pounds? Wow. I'm gonna have to ask King Charles to exchange. But yeah, thank you. Yeah, I don't know. If you have any more questions, let me know. I think that's solid advice, though, with kind of like, a more trumpety, less saxophony kind of phrasing. Your overdrive tone has a lot of texture, not so liquidy. There's a lot of tones you hear in these days. Yeah, mainly because that's like, I really don't know how to get a different sound, honestly. Like, I always sound the same through a lot of. If it's too soupy, then you start lose, like, it's good for legato, but you lose all the definition in your right hand. So yeah, I always had if the moment I'd plug into a tone that's like too, what you would consider liquidy, modern, it just sounded like I can't play like I play. Like my right hand doesn't work, you know. So I need something that you can pick quite a bit on and dig in and doesn't sound too crazy. A lot of these guys pick so light that that's the only kind of tone they can play with. I think people that grew up playing a kidney bean pod and now play Sparks, they get used to a kind of unrealistic touch with the left hand. I mean, it's realistic in the sense that it works with a very specific sound, a very specific setup, and a very specific amount of digital compression. And then they just, when they graduate to like adult gear, they just come up with like strange ways of squashing their sounds to where it feels playable. But you know, it's always at the expense of tone. Like they learn how to like do this super light kind of thing. I think it went through his dollars. Don't worry. We appreciate the contribution. I just went on a pedal buying spree, and the RIgHT GTO is a great overdrive. Check it out. You know, I do a lot of demos, and I can tell you something about overdrives. They're all almost the same. Everything everybody makes is almost the same, and people sound just like themselves. It's you know, I hate to say it, but the boomers were right on this one. It really is in your fingers. It's in your brain, you know. Like, if you learn a new chord, or a new scale, or a new mode, or just how to invert two voicings, you know, then your sound so different. It will be like a new color opening up in your playing that will actually make you sound so much more different than the wildest vintage fuzz. Yeah, a lot of pedals are solid ones. I agree. It's just, I'm saying, like, looking at the world and at people. So I have a lot of gear too, you know, but it's, you know, I look at into my own soul when I get the bug to buy a new thing, and I start going on RIgHT and like just like kind of flirting with it and looking at prices, and it's like it's always attached to this idea that something's going to change, but like sitting for you know, yeah, you know, I know it's obvious, but it's obvious, but everybody makes the same mistake. Okay. What's your left hand pressure like? Heavier. I mean, left hand pressure can't actually be separated than right hand pressure very easily, and you know, like, it's really hard. Most people, I mean, I can't think of anybody who really plays really hard with their right hand and really soft with their left. So I think like the tension you put down, you don't really need the situations where you would practice playing super lightly. I guess you barely pick, you know, but you're also kind of picking. You need to kind of concentrate on the balance between the hands. They need to make a balanced sound. So you know, when it's kind of like a little bit tenser, like gypsy jazz, you're not playing super lightly. I mean, I guess there's no reason with your left hand to press. The tension is sort of not downward. You know what I mean? You want very light downward tension. Like, there's no reason to press into the fretboard past where you get the note cleanly, ever. But, you know, so the fingers are relaxed, but you still need to hold tension in your, like, a very minimal amount, obviously. You're not stiff, but, you know, it's kind of like the awake energy that goes into playing is spread between both hands. So some kinds of different kinds of playing, like you want it more sleepy, and like just when you're playing a ballad, you actually want to play soft. I think that's okay. To answer your question a little bit better, Jim, especially with acoustic music, you're making the sound. So you soft and sweet playing needs to be very, very low tension. Intense, fiery playing needs to be higher tension, right? Because you're making the act. Imagine, again, back to other instruments. Imagine a saxophonist blowing softly into something to kind of you kind of hear the air become the note, as opposed to just like blowing some crazy lines, right? That's just like everything's like on fire. So I think playing a ballad, it's light everywhere. You don't have some like idealistic way of the amount of pressure in the left hand. It's all going into making sound. And it kind of varies a little bit within the lines to make them really speak, right? It's like you don't want to play like all the time. It's like la 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 la, or better than that, but like but if you're playing real fiery, you're trying to be more even. But none of it's like super digging in, because then you won't be able to play quickly. All right, does that make sense? Let's see. That's my experience. Yeah, I keep acquiring more as well. It's strange. I've noticed that you still reactive load IR connected to on your demo. How do you use it? I just connect it to my amps and run it through pedals just for volume's sake in the studio we film at. I play much harder live. 211s feel like 9s live. The adrenaline of playing live is real, and people tend to dig in more, but you should not dig in past the point. Like, your sound is your sound. You lose it at a specific velocity, right? You can play gypsy jazz from like 1 to 10 dynamically, and once you get to range like, let's say 8, 9, 10, things start sounding pretty gnarly. So you always want to be able, it's not a relaxation thing, because it's like if somebody, like, try to tell your wife to relax. It won't, it doesn't work when you tell somebody to relax. It's not like relaxing, the best thing you can do is take a breath, but be aware of what you actually sound like in the moment. When you're in front of people and you feel like that thing where you're about to play really hard with your right hand, to just, be more like, close your eyes, go inside the notes and ask yourself, what do you want them to sound like through the amp on that stage? And still, the amount of pressure you're putting into the string shapes your sound more than anything else. I remember reading that Django used buttons as picks. There's no truth to that. No, he used tortoise shell, which is illegal now. They look like buttons. They look like, this is imitation tortoise shell. But all those guys, they were 3.5 to 5 millimeter picks with beveled edges. Some of them used stones, but tortoise shell was the most common material. But you have to bevel the edges to make it thinner, to make the attack nice. And now you have like a lot of companies that use tortoise shell imitation, because apparently it's not cool to kill turtles anymore because we're all a bunch of hippies. But yeah, fuck turtles. I really want those picks. like three little words. I don't know, you're driving me crazy. I have played three little words, but I cannot remember it right now. It's a good song though. I just made this chord melody the other day. I'm gonna record it and show everybody the chords in a few days. I just thought that one was actually kind of complicated, but I made some simple ones for like all of me and stuff like that. I thought there's not a lot of good content on YouTube for chord melody. It's like either way too complicated and depressing, like I'm never gonna be able to learn that stuff, or like just, you know, grandpa teaching me some weird chords. So yeah. Yeah, there's some cool so you got to get your drop twos together, but like, you know, those like do 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 da. That's just like, you know, that's like F minor 7, A diminished, B flat 7, C diminished, B flat 7, first inversion. But like, it's just almost exclusively drop twos. You just got to learn how to keep the voices moving well. Do you like Brazilian music? I sure do. I like Milton Nascimento. Looking forward to that. Yes, not a lot of chord stuff on YouTube. I wish you spend so much time the rhythm stuff for the mind swing. Yeah, you know, I mean, there's a lot of content, but like just, yeah, the range is like either doesn't sound right, oversimplistic, or depressing, way too complicated. I'm never, like, I see a lot of just, like, new jazz guys that like arrange the shit out of stuff. It's like counterpoints. Things like, I don't want to, you know, I just want to play the tune, man. I just want to play it nice. I want to have some nice chords. I don't need to go to university to, like, you know, figure out what you did there. So I think it's more about arming people with kind of a way of getting from point A to point B and making it sound right, rather than sticking all your shit in there. But yeah, but I know that that probably feels like I feel when somebody's like, "Oh, you're from Israel? Here's having a gila." You're welcome, Mario. Are you the son of Steve Vai? Yes. like a much more attractive Jewish version. Any Gypsy Jazz album recommendations? I am new to jazz fusion, but the Alan Holdsworth sound is way too complicated for me now. Yeah, it's complicated for us all. But Gypsy Jazz seems to be still pleasing, yet has a jazz sound. I like Jimmy Rosenberg Trio. That's a great album. And everything. Well, not everything, but just the classic stuff by Django. Just get a Django compilation and all the hits are on there. You know, not so much Django Electric playing, but you know, he's playing the acoustics. The later stuff I like much less. Thank you, David. Huh? Oh, thank you. Hey, Mike Ritchie. How you doing? How's the Gypsy Jazzing going for you? Any requests, Mike Ritchie? Is there a Gypsy Jazz song you're dying to hear? Oh, don't worry about it, David. We appreciate it. I know Mike's gonna request some song I don't know how to play. Thank you. I appreciate it. Thanks. No, that doesn't. Alright, I knew you were gonna ask for something like that, but I actually gotta go. I'm summoned back to take care of my baby. Talk to you guys soon.